The top 5 leagues are back, which means Team of the Week 2 is stacked. You guys were loving Week 1 so much. In fact, so much so that the goalkeeper that was nominated for the Team of the Week 1, he was messaging and commenting saying, oh, thank you. He was putting it on his story, highlights like he was gassed. So that's how you know our Team of the Weeks here. When I write approved by Amenyah, it means this is the rubber stamped Team of the Week. It's an honor to be here, if you will. And again, before anyone starts complaining, I do this every single Monday, so I know there's going to be Liverpool v Newcastle tonight, but that will count towards next week, right? It is Monday to Sunday, the games played there. So Real Madrid's playing last Monday will count towards today. As always, guys, I do read and reply to as many comments as possible. So I told you guys every week I have my 11, my manager, but we pick 3 honorable mentions to also get a point from you guys in the comments. So the 3 players that will be getting added are Richarlison for his performances last week, Nico Williams, and then Achimpong. I think they were all very unlucky to miss out. But without further ado, enough yapping, let's tuck in. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Subscribe. We're on the road to that 100k plaque. In goal, we do start in the Premier League. In fact, the first couple players are going to be Premier League, but then don't worry. We start going to the big leagues because the top 5, I'll be honest, I found it very difficult trying to think who to squeeze where. But the goalkeeper, I think it could only really be one man this week. There were some shouts for Thibaut Courtois, big save against Oviedo, but I think Jordan Pickford, first game at DHD Stadium for Everton, saves a penalty on Danny Welbeck to already get that first day being memorable. Of course, kept a clean sheet as well against a pretty solid Brighton team, so fair play to Pickford. At right back, I think this one needs no introduction. It is probably the most obvious pick of the entire lot, given how many attackers there are. It is Hurrien Timber. I think you guys might be tired of how much I'm going to keep on gassing this guy, but I will keep on doing so until we all can agree. Let me know in the comments, this is the best right back in the Premier League. I think worldwide, like I said, you've got Hakimi as the standout number 1. Then there's a battle for second, honestly. Like, if you debate me, Koundé v Timber, I can hear either side. This guy, he scored 2 goals, he got his assist, but defensively, absolutely shut down. I believe I saw a stat on Twitter that said, like, after the minute 10 or 20 or something like that, Arsenal conceded 0.00 XG whatsoever for the rest of the game. Meanwhile, this guy's flying forward. Normally, people say that he's more of like the defensive guy. Ben White's the one that makes the overlaps, but he was making those runs. And of course, incredible header for the first goal. Second one was more of like a instinctive swipe at the ball. But Hurrien Timber, I'm going to keep on saying his hips don't lie like Shakira. You might not going to keep on saying pause, but you get where I'm coming from now. And the last Premier League player for a while is going to be the other side of North London. We've gone with Christian Romero. Obviously won 2-0 away to Manchester City. And as we said, completely nullified their forwards, bro. We barely saw Erling Haaland other than there was that one header where he jumped way too early, headed it over the bar. Guys, they did nothing. We were not seeing Tijani Reinders making them box crashing runs. Although, to be fair, he was deployed slightly deeper. So we won't, blame him too much for that. But the wingers, nowhere to be seen. I didn't see any of them do anything. Romero was winning all of his ground duels. He was passing out from the back as well to try and get them out of trouble. So him and Van der Ven, if Van der Ven can just keep his hamstrings fit and not be too fast for his own hammy, they've got something good there. I'm seeing today as a bombasso that Arsenal are trying to hijack another signing in Hincapie. I don't think either team need him, but again, that's besides the point. We go to left centre back. This is a name that you might think you're familiar with, but it's not the guy you think it is, because I'm going with Alexandro. No, not that one. We're going with Alexandro, the left centre back that plays for Lille. Obviously, they beat Monaco 1-0. All the credit is going to go towards Giroud for coming back and scoring that 91st minute winner. He missed the penalty afterwards, but still, he won the game for them. But this guy was a rock at the back. I'll be honest, Brazil, for a long time, we used to say, you know what, they've got so many attackers, but where are the defenders? Now, it seems to be the reverse. They're spawning in all these incredible defenders, but then we look up top. We're relying on guys that are not really, 20, 25 goal a season players. But again, I have to give some love to Ligue 1 in there as well. Speaking of Brazilian defenders, it's another one. This time, it is the guy you think it is, because I've gone with Alex Telles. Currently at Botafogo. Obviously, if you had watched Club World Cup, you would know that. But again, he was alright there. Here, he's got a nice goal. They've gone away to Juventud and won 3-1. And again, I don't know if it's because he just loves being back at home. I don't know what it is, because in the Premier League, it was a bit smelly, right? He had like a good delivery on him, but it wasn't looking too hot. Whereas Club World Cup, and then of course now in the Brazilian Serie A, he's looking much better. He looks a lot more composed at the back. He's got them kind of leadership qualities as well. You know, like the intangibles. It's not always quantifiable by stats. Sometimes the intangibles to get a team through a game are important as well. Now we get onto the difficult part, because there are so many players that I could have picked for this. I'm going to start in DM. The player that I've selected, let me know if you agree, I've gone Tchouaméni. Again, big respect to Caicedo, big respect to João Palhinha. Obviously, he scored even against Man City away. But I just think sometimes, as I said with Telles, things are unquantifiable by stats. Every day, it's not about going to your Excel spreadsheet and counting who got the most goals, who got the most assists. Tchouaméni seemed back to his best. Last season was, I think we can all agree, a bit of an underwhelming one by his, very high standards, sometimes playing centre-back and whatnot. But yesterday, he was moving like, Nunu the Hoover in Teletubbies. Everything just scooped up, every lost ball, every 50-50, winning that, progressing the ball forward to allow the likes of Mbappe, and then obviously when Vinny came on and these guys to go and do what they do best. Alongside Tchouaméni, we go to the other part of the El Clasico rivalry, derby, whatever you want to call it. It is, of course, Pedri. He was unlucky to miss out last time, but I think we might be seeing his face in these videos quite a lot, because yet again, another imperious performance from Pedri. I think there are just some players that I want you guys to understand on this channel, yeah. We're not going to just do, let's count up who scored the most goals and who got the most assists, and therefore, boom, you're in. We have to know that watching these players, how impactful are they to the team? And Pedri, were it not for him, listen, that 2-0 Levante lead could have been slightly even more. They obviously had a goal disallowed early on, like around minute 8. And even on a pitch that looked like it was waterlogged by Niagara Falls, he was still looking silky. Not many players can do that, guys. So big respect to him. He, of course, is someone that people say, you know what, he doesn't really bang goals, but if we want numbers today, the goal he scored was an absolute banger. Another banger. He wrapped that top bins from 25 yards out, so he fully deserves a place in the team. And to complete the midfield, so I've gone through many as like the DM, Pedri as the CM, if you will, like a 6, an 8, and then our 10, we fly to London and we give it to João Pedro. This one, again, look, there are many names that I could have gone with here. So let me arrange it so that you guys know that it's not just like some complete scatter formation, if you will. Look at it as more something like this, yeah? João Pedro obviously got his goal, got a couple assists as well. I think many people were quick to write him off because of game 1. He didn't do anything. But again, we are not trying to be reactionary or do the rage bait thing on this channel. Like, leave that for the kids on TikTok that they just go and argue and start yapping. And look, I get many of you are going to be angry because, you had him in FPL, he let you down, you kicked him out. But anyone with eyes could tell you that João Pedro, it's going to work at Chelsea. It is going to work. Well taken goal. Great cross to Pedro Neto for his goal. All in all, Pedro, fantastic performance. I mean, they scored 5 goals away West Ham. They were unlucky, as I said, to not get like a Caicedo in there or someone else. But I felt like if I had to go with one, Chelsea player, it probably had to be Pedro. But to be fair, the same can be applied to Timber, right? Because I'm going to, spoiler alert, Arsenal won 5-0 and I don't have any attackers in the team. I could have maybe pushed for like a Calafiori, but I just think Timber was the standout guy for the the goals, the assists, etc, etc. So Pedro, big up to his thing. He's going to be very important for Chelsea going forward. I quite like how the link-up works even with him and the lap, by the way. That's something to look out for. So if Pedro's not playing as the pure 9, he can still offer you something playing just off the striker. So fair play to him. At right wing, I had some debate. In fact, before I go to right wing, I would say another option for the 10 that I could have maybe gone with is Kenan Yildiz of Juventus. I really wanted to fight his case, but I just felt as though I could not make this team without a Chelsea player. It didn't make sense. We have to, give credit where it's due. So Yildiz probably, when you guys, as always, give me the 3 names, I reckon Yildiz might be one of the names that makes the bench, definitely as like an honourable mention. First one to come off if Pedro's tired or whatever. Now at right wing, we fly to Spain. We're going to Villarreal, and listen, it was a serious coin flip. You're going to think, what are you talking about? How on earth is that a coin flip? That doesn't make any sense. It's clearly obvious which Villarreal player takes this right spot. Buchanan the Canadian scored a hat-trick. Nicolas Pepe was the star of the show. I mean, he opened the scoring, and basically every goal, he was pretty much either directly or indirectly involved. He was creating chances for fun. I think, in fairness though, a hat-trick, I think the numbers are going to be important, isn't it? He scored like a very nice goal as well, kind of into the roof of the net. A couple of the others were, look, a couple tap-ins, if you will. It's difficult. Am I going to go performance, where I think Nicolas Pepe was the better player for Villarreal in this game and kind of spearheaded every attack? Or do I give the Canadians some credit? You know what? It's a hat-trick. I'm going to give the Canadians some love. We're going to go with Buchanan on the right. But Nicolas Pepe, if you guys are voting in the comments, I recommend so far Kenan Yildiz and Nicolas Pepe need to be getting in there. But fair enough, we have a Canadian in the team of the week. Up front, much like Timber, I think this one doesn't need much of a debate. We are, of course, going to be going with Harry Kane. Scored a hat-trick on the Bundesliga opener against Leipzig. It's not even like some bum team or something, right? It's a pretty solid team. Yeah, they're missing a few players here and there, but 6-0, you cooked. Another player that, again, could have maybe been in here, potentially, is, of course, Olise, playing either in the 10 or right wing, wherever you want to put him. He plays as more of a 10, to be fair. And again, João Pedro, I think you can understand what I'm saying. I could not have a Chelsea player in there. It doesn't sit right with me. And you know me, I'm a man of honesty and fairness. I don't care about what team you love, what team you hate. I just want to make a team that's fair. And I believe that Kane is the striker for that team. Which means, one spot remaining. So the Madrid fans that were shouting at me, why didn't you wait till Tuesday? Why didn't you wait till Wednesday? Well, today's your lucky day. Because not only did Mbappe score 2 golazos this weekend, but also he was great on Monday. So that's 2 games that he's played in the space of this week. And that definitely cements him as a left wing spot. Big respect to him. I keep on saying it. You can deny it all you want. I believe that when everyone is playing at their best, Kylian Mbappe is the best footballer in the world. You may think I'm wrong. You might start shouting Yamal. You might shout anyone else. I don't know. The Dembele. It is Kylian Mbappe. And to be honest with you, last year, fair enough, you can say he started a bit slow, despite ending up with the golden boot and whatnot. But this year, he looks a bit different, guys. His level of clinicality, if you will, it's reminding me of, do you guys remember Hugo Sanchez, 1989 to 1990? For those of us who remember, he bagged like, I think it was 38 league goals because he was just moving clinical, bro. You get the ball in and around the box, sharp shooter. Mbappe's first goal, I think it's really underrated. The turn he does to create that separation, I don't think anyone else is doing that. And then he wraps it bottom bins. Obviously, second goal, that's classic Mbappe. We know him for finishing those by now, where he can send you shots and go far post or do that wrap near post. So Mbappe, fair play to him. And of course, we have to end with a gaffer. But before that, I will say 2 players unlucky to miss out are 2 players that they love a little, either a mask or the Batman mask or whatever. It's Amenyah and it's Gyökeres. Both of them hitting braces this weekend. Gyökeres with his first Premier League goals for Arsenal. Amenyah bagging for Marseille in their 5-2 win over Paris. Unlucky to miss out, but again, Harry Kane, it's a hat-trick. I feel like I don't want to be a numbers guy, but then when you get a hat-trick, it probably should overrule, you know, good performances. Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say. On to the gaffer. I did have Thomas Frank in mind. I think he was my initial draft, but speaking to the guys in Discord and whatnot, they reminded me that, you know what, if we are going to be representing all types of leagues and levels, it's going to be a different Frank. Big respect Thomas Frank for beating City away, but we're going Frank Lampard, whose Coventry side just popped QPR 7-1. That is ridiculous. Brothers like Hadji Wright and that were going crazy, so fair play to them. Frank Lampard is our manager for Team of the Week 2. As per usual, let me know the 3 players that you think should be honourable mentions that you want to fight for, or more than 3. Whatever one I see the most of in the comments, I will go with that one. And of course, don't forget, every Monday, around 4 PM, sometimes 4:30, on Twitch, we do our own Match of the Day where we watch all the Premier League games, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga, and we just, you know, have convos about who played well, players to look out for, those who had stinkers, and just general football debate. So follow the Twitch, keep on supporting, get the algorithm booming with the likes, the comments, the shares. Of course, as always, new shirts added to the website every Friday. So now we've got Mexico in there for any Mexican viewers somehow, somewhere. For the players, we got a couple new ones. We got El Magico, Jorge Gonzalez. And then we also have King Kenny of Liverpool. So again, any players you might want to see on the website, let me know, bro, because you might are loving them. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. RetroRemontada.shop. Go check it out. The link is in the bio. I'll see you guys either tonight or tomorrow or in Twitch. Have a great week. In a bit. Bosh.